So you know the old expression, live every day like it's your last. So you live every day as crazy, as wild as possible, doing as much as you possibly can because you're only going to live once. And that is a specific interpretation of that. I'm going to interpret it in a different way, and I think there is positive interpretations of it. But if you do take it that way, just as an example, or even in general, if you live your life by that motto, I think it can make days look like they're failures. But no day's a failure. No day's a day poorly spent, because a day living and breathing on Earth, we should be grateful for. We should be absolutely blessed by the fact that we're even living. We're even breathing. We're lucky to have this opportunity to have an experience at life, and that is something that is a key foundation for what I have to talk about today. So then, how should you take a view at every day at the end of the night? When you sit in bed, or when you just go to sleep? How should you look at your day? How should you view it? Maybe you had a bad day, and that's okay. I'm not saying that every day has to be a great day. And maybe you did have a good day, and that's fantastic. And maybe your day was just come see, come saw. It was boring, not that much happened. You didn't get that much done. Nothing bad really happened. You just kind of sat around. Maybe you just went to school, and school was school, and you just went to practice, and practice was practice. And that's okay too. We all have days like that, and not every day is good as the other. Not every day is built to be your best day, and not every day is going to be your worst day. And that's important when considering what I have to say today. In my opinion, one of the most important views you can have on life is living life curiously. If you put a spin on the opposite of what I had to say at the beginning of the video, live every day like it's your last, you should live every day like it's your first. And what I say by that, I mean, be curious. Be interested. Have fun. Live like you know nothing. And I don't mean in the literal sense. You still know basic things about your life. You still know stuff you've learned in the past, obviously. But that just goes to say, live curious. Live interested. I think it goes hand in hand with, those two sayings go hand in hand with trying new things. But I think the other one goes hand in hand with, you have to think a lot bigger every day than's achievable. It's not possible to live every day like it's your last, because not every day is built to be your last. A day, your 9 to 5 on a Monday isn't built to be like it's your last day, because it's not your last day and you have obligations. And that saying totally ignores the fact that you have obligations in life that you want to do, unless you want your life to be a disaster. That's just true. If you want to have a stable foundation for your life, you can't really live every day like it's your last, but you can live every day curious. You can live every day interested. So I'm going to give 3 personal examples, and then we'll circle back to this. My first example I have is probably something that's more relatable to my generation, and more relatable to maybe that quarantine era of time, that quarantine time period. It's more reminiscent of that. So I remember there was this Minecraft server I had with my friends about 4 years ago now, and none of us had really played Minecraft in a multiplayer scenario. And I don't really talk with a lot of those kids anymore, but excluding, I think there was my best friend, his cousin on that server. So I still talk with those guys with relative frequency. I talk with my best friend every day. So, but how does this relate to living curious? Well, because it was a situation where none of us knew anything. It was a new experience, which goes hand in hand with curiosity, that you should try those new things because you'll be curious about them. You don't know anything. It forces you to learn, and it's so fun to learn those things. So we played on the server. It only lasted a good 3 months or so, maybe, but it was still a really fun time. We played a bunch every day almost. We all connected. We all talked all the time. It was a fun time. It was great. But it only lasts for so long, and that's okay. Those experiences obviously don't last forever. It circles me to my first point of this video, where curiosity comes hand in hand with new experiences, as I just said. And it's reminiscent of, maybe when you were just a little kid, when actually, this time, literally everything was new, you were probably happier. When we're little, when you're smaller, you're naive, you don't know about the bad things happening in the world, or the harsh consequences that come with your actions or responsibility. Living like that, that is something where literally everything was new. And I bet you were happy then when you're curious, when you wanted to know about things, when you just asked things to your parents because you were just curious. You just wanted to know why. So that is a time that is really reminiscent of what I think you should take away from this video today, to be curious. So my second situation that I'm going to personally tell you guys about is about my fear of roller coasters. This is a very common fear. It's tons of people have it, it's not something that is unique to me. But this summer, I overcame that. I went to Disneyland. I was really scared. I was terrified, and I ended up loving it. It was awesome. It was so fun. And I know Disneyland roller coasters aren't Six Flags. I know they aren't some of the crazy ones in the world, but they're fun. They're super well made, and they are better than nothing at all, obviously. And it was an experience that was new to me. So I was just like, I was always asking about, because the people I went with, my cousins, had been there before. So I kept asking about all the roller coasters and how scary they were. And I eventually went on, I think was the scariest one, which is the Incredicoaster. Such a fun ride. It was terrifying though, but that was my favorite part of the trip. That cycles me to my second point. You should get out of your comfort zone. That goes hand in hand with those two sayings, but getting out of your comfort zone in a way that is, an approachable manner and is still fun. Because if you never do anything out of your comfort zone, you're never going to be able to grow as a person, and you're never going to be able to change. So it forces you to grow and change, which is awesome. Those are two things that you want to develop as a person. And I think it's so fun when you get those experiences that are out of your comfort zone, because those are the things that make our lives, Those new things, those new experiences that we're not necessarily used to are so fun because it's something that we're so naive about. You feel this rush of adrenaline, and it's one of the best experiences possible in life. But you can't necessarily get those every day. So, like I said, curiosity should come from finding a way to push your comfort zone in a way that is possible every day. So this cycles me to my third point, where maybe you can't ride roller coasters for the first time every day, obviously. So it's about appreciating small things in life. And I don't think music is a small thing in life, but this is my third personal example. The first time I listened to 808s and Heartbreak by Kanye West, I didn't really pay attention to it. I listened to him, I listened to a couple of the songs, I just decided I didn't like the album that much, and I tossed it away. And Kanye eventually became, and is right now, my favorite artist ever. So I cycled back to it about a week ago, and I went, man, I never really listened to 808s and Heartbreak. Amazing album, by the way, if you like hip-hop, especially like this modern sounding hip-hop. It's probably one of the most influential albums ever. I circled back to it, I listened to it again, and it's my favorite album right now. I think it sounds amazing. I think it's a 10 out of 10 album to me. I don't think it's every song is a hit, but I think it's pretty much I think the first two songs are kind of and then everything else after is awesome. Anyway, circles back to my point. That's a small thing in life that I can get excited about. I don't think music is a small thing necessarily as a cultural example, but listening to an album is a pretty just human experience. It's a general thing that we all experience. It's not some crazy thing to listen to an album, especially a hip-hop album and this by Kanye West, who's one of the biggest artists. It's a small thing as a general thing, but I got so excited about that. I'm so pumped up about listening to that music right now even. So, circling back and thinking about getting excited about small things, getting curious about those things, diving deeper into them, it makes us human, and it makes every day have a little more value, I mean, taking away something from your day that makes you interested, learning about something new, just as if when you were a small kid, and pushing your comfort zone are the primary things that I think are important that you should take away from this video today. So, whenever you can, and whenever you can, I would push your comfort zone when the opportunity arises. Maybe, if you haven't, you should go ride a roller coaster. Maybe, if you haven't, you should ice skate. You should skydive, if you can. And those are things that are kind of like our first saying, you only live once. But when those opportunities don't present themselves, You should take curiosity just as if when you were a little kid and be happy and curious about everything. Maybe you see something on an Instagram post, or maybe you see something on a YouTube video and you look into it and it's way interesting. You're curious about it and it's just something that makes your day. It's something that you can write home about. For me, recently, it's been reading. I've been reading this book, this Western, by Larry McMurtry. It's called Lonesome Dove. It's an amazing book. It's not like the easiest read, but I don't think it's very hard. It's a pretty simple to wrap my head around, to me at least. And for me, recently, this new passion I've discovered is reading. So discovering those passions by just trying those new things. And I know reading isn't a new thing to me, but I hadn't ever read this consistently in maybe a decade of my life. And if it isn't evident enough, I'm not the oldest. So, in summary, I'll break down the 3 main points. Push your comfort zone. Live as curious as it were when you were a kid. And find something to get excited about every day. You know, I know it's not, like I said, every day is an impossible circumstance to follow. But as often as possible, making your day have a little bit more substance, a little bit more value, can just make life so much better of an experience. Being appreciative for small things in life, and just being appreciative for anything, I think makes life so much better and have so much more value. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have anything to say in the comments, I would love to hear. If you want to talk about something, if you're following me on Instagram, send me a message. If you have a recommendation for a video, I'd love to hear. I almost guaranteed will make it, pending obvious exceptions. And if you just want to talk to me, I think these videos are more serious, and so sometimes people that are drawn towards them just need someone to talk to. I would love to hear. I would love to talk to you. Leave me a comment and I will contact you as the easiest way possible. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day, and I'll see you later.